everyone and welcome to the Plants But Better channel. My name is Adina, this is the new studio and today we're doing something fun. And yes, you guessed it from the title, we are going to upgrade the classic version of a moss pole. The benefits of moss poles are plenty and I'm going to share all of that with you in the next video along with how I'm going to use them. Because I've got a climbing plant screaming for my attention and it will get it soon enough. But today I just wanted to show you how to build or how to upgrade a moss pole in an affordable and easy way. And what do I mean by upgrade? Well, if you're familiar with the classic DIY moss poles, some of them don't hold onto moisture for a long period of time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they are built with moss, obviously, and some kind of mesh to keep it securely. However, when I first made this kind of moss pole, it was a terrific experience since it was dry 2 hours later. So I want my moss pole to stay wet for a longer period of time. And yes, that's the upgrade, and yes, joke intended. Now let's see what we'll need. Clean and good quality sphagnum moss. I say this because I bought in the past moss with impurities and bugs and it was unusable, literally, so be careful with choosing the right sources. Chicken wire mesh. This was available at the time and since I don't have chickens, I could use this mesh to build moss poles for the rest of my life as well as my grandkids' life. A transparent drawer liner. I've got mine from IKEA and it's very rubbery and also has the perfect thickness for this project. Zip ties. Mine are 10 centimeters long, but I also use them for other purposes like when I'm shipping plants. A diagonal or side plier and a pair of scissors. This is going to help us cut the wire mesh and the transparent liner. A ruler and a permanent marker. This will help us measure the liner. Gloves, optional but good to have if you want to protect your skin in case of the mesh ferociously attacking you. Husband, again optional but great to have helping you cut the chicken wire mesh. How to build a moss pole. Since I like maths and being precise, I'm going to give you the exact same measurements I used. Even the moss is measured. And by the way, you'll also see on the screen the imperial measurements for our imperial friends, but I will be using the metric system because I'm from Europe and because it's superior. Moving on, take about 200 grams of dry sphagnum moss. You could use maybe 180, 150 if you want to stretch it out, but not too little because your moss will dry out quicker. Let it soak in water for about 10 to 15 minutes, which is enough time for us to prepare the other materials. Watering the moss will make it easier to work with and to spread it across the pole. While all of this is happening, we'll prepare the wire mesh, which is challenging if you're going to do this on your own. I'm doing this for the purpose of this video, but I would seek professional help if I was not filming. It's just easier to cut this mesh into people and you'll also save a lot of time. This mesh is extremely rigid and if you're not careful, you could also scratch yourself even if you use gloves. And also I will not remove the wire that is securing the mesh since it could all explode in my face, so be careful about that as well. The specs for this mesh are 1 meter in height and 10 meter in length. The diameter of the wire is 1.2 millimeters and the aperture is 13 millimeters. So this aperture word may be a bit confusing because I thought instantly about cameras and I don't know exactly what other words could be. Maybe wire hole or eye hole. You name it, I'm sticking with aperture. So I like this eye of the mesh, this aperture, because it gives the plant enough space to grow aerial roots. If the aperture is too small, I feel like they will affect the growth of the roots because trust me, they will get thick on some plants. This mesh is made of galvanized wire and this wire is coated with PVC. That means it is stable enough to not add any PVC pipe or any other additional support. I'm going to count and use the side plier to cut after 14 squares and we will let the height be as it is at 1 meter. We'll make this big moss ball for the TLC plant I was just mentioning in the beginning of the video, and I hope it will forgive me for the neglect I've put it through. You'll see, you'll see. Now let's get the drawer liner, and when I first thought about the video I wanted to give you the exact measurements, but while filming it I found a better way to cut the liner without doing any math, so you could thank me later. Take the piece of wire you just cut and place it under the drawer liner. I will cover 10 out of 14 squares, I hope that makes sense, and take the ruler to mark where to cut. Do this until you cover the whole surface of the liner. Take your scissors and let's start cutting. I didn't film it, but if you are bothered by the permanent marker traces, you could easily wipe them off with some alcohol. We will now bend the wire carefully not to get hurt. This part will take a while and you might get back pains after this. Now it's also a good time to use the gloves. After we're done, let's check on the sphagnum moss, and it's pretty much ready to go. Take the piece of liner and cover about 5 squares of the mesh, and now we'll spread the moss along the wire mesh. This will also take a while, but you are now halfway there. We will leave a section of the wire empty on the base. This will get filled up later with substrate or even rocks, whatever you choose to stabilize the pole in one place. I will not show you that today, but stay tuned for the next video to see how I'm going to use this. After we're done with the moss, we'll take the liner and place it in between the moss and the other part of the wire mesh. This liner is basically the upgrade, the part of the project that will help the moisture be locked in the moss for a slightly longer time. We don't want the moss to dry too fast since it could dehydrate the roots or not help any roots develop at all. But we don't want it moist non-stop either, especially in winter, since it would cause root rot. It's a double-edged sword and we need to balance the outcomes. We need a good amount of moisture and also let the roots breathe. We'll now secure the moss ball in place with zip ties. Starting from the top, we're going to leave the next 4 squares empty and then secure the 5th one. Again, 4 squares empty and then secure the 5th one without tightening them up. This process is a bit finicky and I think it's the part of the project that will take you the most amount of time, because now you will need to fight against the liner and push them so you can fasten the zip ties. If you have trouble doing this, try going little by little. As you can see, we're trying to achieve 5 squares covered on one side and 5 squares on the other, and 4 squares left alone so your plant could grow on it. After you're done pushing and fighting, we will cut the excess plastic from the zip ties and we're pretty much done. And there you have it, a DIY moss ball that is ready to be used. Now say hello to my little friend. If you like DIY projects, this will not disappoint. Personally, I don't like the idea of buying those plastic templates, moss ball sheets or whatever they are called, and that's why I prefer doing one at home. I've been searching to trial and error of different variations of moss balls with different materials, and you'll find plenty other projects online, but this one I believe is pretty stable, it's pretty affordable, well, excepting the good quality moss, and it's pretty fun to make too. I'm not claiming it's the best one, but it will give you better results than one without the transparent liner in the back. If you want to know how I use this bad boy, stay tuned for the next video in which we will also discuss the benefits of moss balls. If the video is already up, you will see it somewhere in my left or right side. I don't remember exactly. I've linked all the materials I used for this project in the description box, and if you have any additional questions or concerns, please feel free to comment or to contact me. See you soon, and until next time, don't forget to take care of yourself and your plants.